me up, to break me down, to build me up again. They like, Hov, we need you back so we could kill your ass again. You know, it's like this thing.
I'm fully prepared with everything I need for the Jay-Z documentary. The moment he sent that legal letter, I knew I had to let the world see who he really is. He and Diddy are cut from the same cloth. He just hides his arrogance and control behind a cleaner image. Our feud has lasted 20 years, and I know better than anyone what he's done in the shadows. I even suspect that so-called funeral bouquet wasn't Diddy's idea at all, but Jay-Z acting on his behalf. Back when Nicki Minaj posted that video of him wearing a pink wig, all I did was repost it, and he got so nervous he had his lawyers threaten me. In 2015, Nicki worked her ass off helping him build his platform, and he allegedly pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. And then there's his fingerprints all over key incidents through the years, whether it's the elevator footage or the guest list at Diddy's parties. He was involved, clearly, but somehow he always walks away untouched. That's what he's best at, pulling strings behind the scenes while pretending to be spotless in public. And now that a corner of the darkness has been ripped open, I'm not stopping. Everything my team and I are doing isn't about attacking anyone. It's about making sure the truth can't be buried by him ever again.
You ain't answering the phone?
He ain't answering the motherfucking phone.
Hey, it's like this, like
We had a black billionaire's lunch.
Black excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's a billionaire brunch. Like,
I hate you, man.
And we here together, and we gonna keep staying together. We getting tighter.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again.
Hip-hop has always been fueled by rivalry, moments where competition sparks debate, shapes legacies, and keeps the culture moving at full speed. Every lyric, side glance, and public move becomes magnified, turning tension into headlines and feeding a global audience hungry for high-stakes drama. Now, that energy is centered on two giants of the game, Jay-Z and 50 Cent. What once existed as subtle jabs and quiet friction has erupted into something far more intense, pulling the entire hip-hop world into its orbit as fans and insiders brace for how this looming clash between legends will unfold.
That she knew someone that went through Jimmy Hinchman proffer agreement for a drug case. And the proffer agreement revealed that Jimmy Hinchman, he could have walked away if he would have given up Diddy. What she mean by that?
Well, what happened was that they had 9 different sections with Jimmy Hinchman regarding his proffer agreement. So that means the feds went in there 9 different times to talk to him. And in those sessions, they asked him, what do you know about Sean Puffy Combs or Sean Diddy Combs? I don't think it was Puffy at that time. It wasn't Diddy at the time. But what do you know about Sean John Puffy Combs having sex with underage boy? And you got to realize, and people never think about this, that Jimmy and his brother, I think they had the same charges. But his brother walked away from that, and Jimmy gets life without the possibility of parole, I think. Which is crazy. For any drug charge. Nobody should spend their life in jail for drug charges. And just drug charges. But I think they try to tie him to some murders or something like that. I don't know that to be for sure. But he shouldn't spend his life in jail for no drug charges. Not at all. So, but they was gonna let him walk. If he'd probably had to for that proffer agreement, they probably let him walk. If he had any information regarding Puff having sex with underage boys. That the feds asked him. In 2011. In 2011, brother. So what did the feds know? Because the feds not coming there unless somebody made a report or somebody made some allegations against Puff in 2011 to ask a friend of his, Jimmy Henchman, what do you know about that? But for them to ask him about that, it had to be more than a rumor. Somebody made a complaint somewhere. And the feds got hold to that complaint. Now they're going to investigate that complaint when they get people under the barrel, like they had Jimmy Henchman. That's why they asked him.
If he did know information, right, why you think he didn't tell?
Then they would ask, how do you know? And then it comes into play, whereas that if you know of anybody that's in danger in the welfare of a child, and you see that, and you don't report it.
Some brush off 50 Cent's remarks as standard provocation, but beneath the jokes is a tension that has never truly faded. This isn't casual banter. It's a rivalry with history. 150 has repeatedly revived by pointing to moments he says made the divide unmistakable, including a past award show encounter that clearly stuck with him. Despite Jay-Z's immense influence, towering success, and untouchable status in the industry, 50's carefully aimed shots keep landing, sparking nonstop debate across hip-hop. And as the noise grows louder, the question lingers: is this driven by unfinished business, pure competitive fire, or 50 Cent's unmatched ability to stay at the center of attention and control the narrative?
I just want to say, I know a lot of people want to hear these stories and everything like that, because this is stuff that happened back in the day. And then maybe that if they knew there was going to ever be a YouTube, or they knew there was going to ever be social media, a lot of the stuff probably wouldn't have got played out like it did. But things happen, and these are just stories from the past. I would like to use that as, what you call that, just to clear the facts up what's going on. But it all started, we was in Atlanta. And this story starts when I'm with Puff, and he's in the exotic bookstores, and he's doing shopping, right? He's shopping, getting his stuff and everything like that. So, you know, this is the first time I was ever in an exotic bookstore with Puff. So, you know, I'm giving him his space. He's taking things off the shelves and stuff like that, because they gave him a brown paper bag. When they gave him a brown paper bag, he was just putting stuff in there. So I said, damn, you know, he got to go put it on the counter and, you know, show everybody what he's getting. So as he's going, I'm just looking at the places where he's picking stuff from. So there's one part he picked up some things from up here on my left side. And then he picked like quite a few of them down. I'm like, okay. He put them in the bag. So when I went by there and I looked up there, and it said butt plugs. And I was like, hey, yo, I was messing with him. Because people don't understand, you know, we was like friends. He was a part of the same gang. So I'm still going to tease him. I'm still going to mess with him and everything like that. I could do that. It wasn't just no security thing. So I say, yo, what are you getting this for? And it said butt plugs. And he was like, yo, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, yeah, you could do it by yourself, brother. And he started walking and everything like that. So when he got to, I just waited at the counter. So when he got to the counter, he didn't even have to show the guy nothing. He just gave the guy a wad of money. I mean, like he gave the guy a stack, something like this. And Puff wasn't the dude that carried no 20s and no 50s and nothing like that. And I mean, like, he just said, boom. And we walked out the store. So we had to leave Atlanta and go to North Carolina for a show. You understand? And it was him, this rapper, Sarah, and this other.
One of the most heavily examined chapters in Jay-Z's story is his very public fallout with Dame Dash, a former partner and close confidant whose exit marked the unraveling of Rockefeller's original core and sent shockwaves through the industry. That split wasn't just the end of a business era, it sparked enduring questions about loyalty, trust, and what it truly costs to rise to the top. While Jay-Z's ascent to global dominance is often praised as a blueprint for success, the decisions made along the way are frequently seen as strategic and unyielding, fueling ongoing debate over ambition versus allegiance. To some, it's the mark of a sharp visionary navigating a ruthless industry. To others, it's a reminder that in the world of power and fame, personal bonds can become collateral damage.
G5 jet, and we flew to G4 jet, and we flew to North Carolina. So later on that, I think that afternoon, same day, this rapper and him, they all in the room together. You know, it's Sarah, the girl, Puff, and this dude, this rapper. So I'm hearing at the door and stuff like that, like, yeah. So then next thing you know, somebody rang the doorbell. We had the presidential suite where we was at. So I opened the door and the dude said, yo, I'm here for my cousin. I said, who your cousin? And he said, Ja Rule. I said, well, he busy right now. He said, he busy doing what? I said, he with Puff, they're in the room, they busy, they don't want to be bothered. He said, well, I'm going in there. I said, bruh, you ain't going in there because he told me they don't want nobody to be bothering them. And he was like, yo, I don't care, man, I'm going in there. That bull like that. I said, yo, bruh, Jesus Christ had to come down here and take the air out of my body before you get in that room right there. Watch. He tried to bum rush me. I grabbed his and threw him against the piano. When I threw him into the piano, Puff and Ja Rule runs out the room. Puff got his towel, Ja grabbing his towel, but they butt the naked. And so then Ja was like, yo, what's going on? Yo, G, that's my cousin. He know me well, you know, and Puff was like, yo, G, what happened? I said, he tried to get in the room. I told him he couldn't get in the room. And he was like, he just looked, Puff looked at Ja. He said, yo, Ja said, you ain't want to go in that room because there's a lot of freaking going on. So I was like, oh, he said it was a lot of freaking going on. So that was basically that story, man. You know what I'm saying? They went back in the room, dude felt a certain kind of way, and he left out. So I seen them at the concert the next day, and they tried to, you know, form up against me. But my man Frank was like, I told my man Frank, I was like, yo, Frank, put yourself in that position. Somebody trying to get in the room, and Ja told you don't let nobody get in the room. What would you do? Now, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, man, but you know I ain't taking no losses. He said, yo, you good, and that was it. Bro, when Ja said, you don't want to come up in there, a lot of freaky stuff is going on. You got to use your mind. What they was doing with those butt plugs.
Right.
Beyond his tension with 50 Cent, Jay-Z has also faced intense scrutiny for aligning himself with deeply polarizing figures, collaborations that some believe place a shadow over an otherwise monumental legacy. While his brilliance, influence, and dominance are rarely questioned, critics continue to challenge whether these strategic alliances reflect ambition at any cost, accusing him of prioritizing reach and revenue over principle. These choices have reignited a broader cultural debate about where sharp business instincts end and ethical responsibility begins. Whether viewed as calculated detachment or the unavoidable price of remaining at the top, Jay-Z's supporters remain steadfast, framing his career as the result of fearless vision, a lit strategy, and a rare ability to navigate an unforgiving industry where longevity is achieved through precision, not luck.
That's crazy. Never work with him, though.
What did Tupac do? He did gang-related Poetic Justice. He did Juice. And he did a couple other things. He did a basketball.
Did something with Jim Belushi. Remember they did the one thing?
What did he do? Can you, Above the Rim, Poetic Justice with Janet Jackson, which I thought it was great.
Yeah. Bullet, I think is.
Oh yeah, gang-related soundtrack was actually good. I don't know if you've listened to the gang-related soundtrack. Was that
Not in a minute.
Yeah, it was a really, really good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Cuba, with all this stuff that's coming up with Diddy and you're on one end, 50 Cent is calling out Diddy and here's what he's doing and all this stuff, and they got the back and forth.
Yeah.
I got Suge on here.
Look at this example. Look what happened.
Yeah. And I got Suge on. Yeah, exactly. No question about it. What do you think is going on with all the stuff with Diddy, with Little Rod, with, all the stories that everybody's hearing about?
You mean in terms of what?
I mean, being raiding his house being raided.
I mean, that's crazy. That's the craziest thing I'd ever. And then, hey, how about me? I wake up in the morning, I turn on the station showing Actor Cuba Gooding Jr. I was like, excuse me, pull me into this. I think whatever he's dealing with, he's on his journey, man. I think that God has got him on a path where I can't imagine that he's stupid enough to do whatever he's doing and keep it on his premises. I think that the raid and all of that stuff, only time will tell who was involved, who had been a frequent guest in these places and areas. It's funny because my lawyers said, every outlet in the world wants to talk to you. And again, I'm like, I'm not defining myself from some headline in the press. So I stayed quiet. And it's so funny. So I'll tell you a little story about who my girlfriend is. She gave Robert De Niro 3 grandkids. Her name is Claudine De Niro. She married his son, Raphael. They separated, and we've been together for a while. But she, at one point, ran Naomi Campbell's publicity. She, at one point, ran P. Diddy's publicity, right when he started doing the white party thing. Mm-hmm. He had just gotten freed from indictment, found not guilty. Did he? And he said to her, I'm going to die running with these niggas, man. I need you to help me with the white folks and the switch. And so she helped cultivate his new image. So they had a friendship for years. But I had never met him till probably 2019, 20, just casually, Claudine and I. He invited us to his house. The pandemic was starting.
As the standoff between Jay-Z and 50 Cent quietly intensifies, the hip-hop world stays locked in anticipation, wondering just how far this collision between titans could go. With each passing moment, the pressure continues to build, fueled by a volatile mix of personal history and competitive fire, creating an atmosphere thick with uncertainty and offering little sign that this rivalry is anywhere close to its final chapter.
As that I had my shoulder on him and all this stuff, making it look sordid. Well, that picture, everyone in the room, there's probably 300 of us on the deck of P. Diddy's, I'm going to show you, on P. Diddy's boat, New Year's Eve. I went from one ship, Happy New Year. So I hung out with Tyson, and next ship, there's Drake. This ship had P. Diddy. He had his guy, his videographer. They're listening to music. And he says, hey, Cube, listen, you want to hear P. Diddy's new song? I said, yeah, sure. Sit down next to him. They didn't use this angle, which to me makes me laugh, because I go, oh, I get it. You made it look the way you wanted it to look. But that, and if you hold it, you know how you hold it and it does the thing where, can you hear all the people? If you tap it or something, it's a live picture. Do you see what I mean? It's like, here we are, just listening to music. Finished, took the thing off, said whatever I said to him, left. That was it. But this guy who's suing him is going after the money, man. I'm sure. And by the way, I don't know P. Diddy's life. I don't know what he's going through. I don't know what the police are going to find on all of that.
Were you guys close? Were you guys friends, or?
We were acquaintances, just like I just showed you. Yeah. 2-3 times I've seen him. So it's.
Oh, so Diddy, you've only seen him 2 or 3 times.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So why would they include you all of a sudden in some way?
I think because of the darkness of the other grab of the cases that I already had went through.
Right. A lot of that stuff is 18, though, 19, right? Those are from 5-6 years ago.
That's
cases.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was that at the peak of the Me Too movement, or was that pre-Me Too movement?
That's right. That's right when it kicked off. Yeah.
Right.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Diddy.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
but I did not know that you guys only hung out 2 or 3 times.
That's it, man.
And 50 was with you for your 56th birthday. I think you guys were hanging out together in Miami.
Yeah, because we were in St. Bart's on that boat, but then in Miami, which is where I run around now, of course, I ran into 50, and he was promoting his champagne. I've seen Drake 100 times around town. He loves Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50.
I'm big with the rappers. Man.
How do you feel about 50? How's 50 like?
It's so funny. I got a call from 50 who reached out to me and said, "We got to uplift our black entertainers and let's work together." And I said, "Great." So we'll see. I try not to voice any of my opinion when it comes to the rap songs because just like everybody else, I'm into that music, man.
Are you following the Lamar and Drake thing?
No, I just heard about that.
Yeah, got it. I mean, that's like a whole...
Somebody just got shot today outside of Drake's house.
I heard.
See that?
I heard.
So, I mean, it's like drive-by shooting in a gated community. I mean, that sounds a little crazy.
Yeah, Drake security guard seriously injured in shooting at Toronto's mansion. Guard was shot inside Drake.
What has truly electrified fans about this unfolding clash is 50 Cent's relentless push to question Jay-Z's credibility and character, aiming straight at the core of his legacy. By casting doubt on the weight of his accolades and hinting that he turned his back on longtime allies, 50 shifts the focus from rivalry to reputation and holds nothing back. While some dismiss it as classic provocation, others see a deeper reckoning, a collision of pride, principles, and unresolved history that exposes lingering fractures within the culture where success, loyalty, and ego collide and old tensions refuse to stay buried.
Yeah, I say to them, just like I said to Tupac when I saw him in the lobby of that hotel in Chicago, he said, "Hey, man, help me, man. Give me some advice." I said, "Hey, man, just remember your artistry first. I know you're getting caught up with all this madness, but you're an artist now." He said, "Thanks, Cube." He hugged me and he went off. And
how old was he at the time?
Well, 2-3 weeks later, he was gone.
Oh, no shit.
I saw him, and here's the second time I saw Tupac. This is a true story. Now, I don't like the conspiracy things, but that day, he was in a convertible, like Rolls Royce. He was at the stop site, and I was on a hockey tournament, so I was in Vegas as well, playing hockey, and the Tyson had his fight. And I jumped out of the car, and I ran up to his car. Pac, it's Cube! And all 3 cars, all these cars, boom, 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 with the guns.
Get out.
No, that's Cube good, man. Hey, that's Cube good. And I go, "Oh, sorry, man." He goes, "You good?" I go, I'm good. I'm sorry, guys. Got in the car. So that happens that day when the sun's out, and at night they get shot and there's no cops around.
Here.
That's a true story. I was involved in that.
So in the morning, few hours later, he's gone.
Yeah. Yes. And so where were all of those undercover cops that pulled the guns on me when I tried to approach him sitting in his car convertible?
What are you saying?
I'm just saying it's weird that they were going to blow me away, and I'm Academy Award winner. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because that's 96. So at 96, you're like everywhere.
I'm the man.
Yeah, you're the man in 96.
Like, we don't care. Get away. Back up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, what did he pay you for, Jerry Maguire? I forgot to ask you earlier. Was that your big payday?
No, yeah, at that point, $600,000.
What's the biggest you made for a movie?
Oh, Snow Dogs. I can't talk hell about Snow Dogs. Oh, that was a good year. Oh, that's a 1-2 hit, baby. 13 million total that year.
Wow.
I made a lot
Get
of money.
out of here.
Yeah.
Good for you.
You know that money's gone.
Good.
I already spent that money.
Really?
Yeah, $13 million.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you made some good investments.
I made some investments, yeah, but yeah, that money.
Hey, final.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire...
At the heart of this rivalry is a clash of ambition and identity, where 2 self-made titans embody opposing philosophies of success. Jay-Z moves with calculated precision, relying on strategy, alliances, and long-term vision, while 50 Cent thrives on raw intensity, blunt honesty, and fearless confrontation. That contrast keeps their conflict alive, elevating it beyond personal tension into a fight for relevance, respect, and control of the narrative in a constantly evolving culture. Beneath the surface lies a deeper debate that strikes at hip-hop's foundation itself. Is true greatness earned purely through skill, or shaped by influence, positioning, and perception? For Jay-Z, long celebrated as an all-time great, those questions land close to home as 50's relentless critiques reopen discussions about whether his empire was built solely on merit or amplified by timing, power, and strategic advantage.
Bruh, I told this to this one guy the other day. I'd rather have a slow nickel than a fast dollar any day. My slow nickel put bread on my table. My slow nickel pays my mortgage. My slow nickel brings me home to my family. My slow nickel builds a community. We see what the fast dollar does. Being Diddy rich takes a guy that once name was Puffy, that after every tragedy he had in his life, he had to change his name. Puffy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, Brother Love, Love. Puffy, from the DC tragedy, went to when those kids was trampled over. I think 1 or 2 kids died at a function in DC that he gave. Puffy. City College. Puff Daddy. Biggie. He comes named to Diddy. And now the allegations with Cassie and everything, he went from brother love to love. Being Diddy rich have you thinking you something that you're not. That you greater than what you're supposed to be and the people around you. When I say I'd rather be my poor, with my peace of mind, with my own thoughts, my own community, my own love, with my family, than to be so rich that I'm thinking I'm something that I'm not. That's what they do, bro. Look how many times, what was that? You ever go to a club, it's a big shootout, and it was the Mirage, and then you come back 2 weeks later, now it's the Zone. They changed their name after every shootout.
From another perspective, 50 Cent's persistent shots at Jay-Z may also reflect his own unresolved tension with the industry's power structure. Despite his undeniable success in music and business and the formidable legacy he's built, 50 has often existed just outside the cultural pedestal reserved for figures like Jay-Z, whose influence extends far beyond the charts into the mainstream. Keeping Jay in his crosshairs may be a way for 50 to reinforce his relevance, assert his place among the elite, and remind the culture of his lasting impact. Whatever the true motivation, one thing is undeniable. The collision between these two titans has captured global attention, evolving into one of the most gripping and enduring narratives in modern hip-hop.